The base is dropped on a lot of rain in the Southeast. Soccer Down here, final Friday edition of 2018. I'm Jason Longshore. I'm in Atlanta. It's pouring down rain. Hopefully, the next round of storms headed our way does not knock us offline. Fingers crossed. John Nelson's in Nashville, where it's pouring down rain as well.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's no bueno. But, you know, these things happen sometimes. I think somehow the weather of Cascadia has flipped down here this season, and it's just going to be one of the rainiest years in recent memory, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it has forced a lot of us to sit there and pack multiple layers and levels of clothing for any given activity. And we all know that we need it, but we're thinking about the folks obviously up in the Northeast Georgia mountains who are going through some stuff right now, and it's going to be more of it's going to be coming. And they've had a long year, and it's going to get a little longer. But you know, once again, it's December 28th. It's been a great 2018 for a lot of different reasons, and I know we'll talk about it today, and we'll talk about it on Monday. And I don't know, what is the plan for New Year's? Do we have a plan for New Year's yet?
We're doing a show on Monday. We'll wrap up 2018 on Monday. Not doing a show New Year's morning, I don't think. I think that would probably be a bad idea. So how about we take Tuesday off and then come back on Wednesday and kick off 2019 then?
Roger that.
All right, so the tweet to tease the show, John had questions, and we'll get to those in a second. But your Friday flashback question of the day is, what is your favorite all-time kit? And if you want to go just the jersey, if you want to go the whole package, if you want to get into multiple kits, I've seen national team favorites and club favorites. Wherever you want to take it, that's the kind of day we're going to have. So this could be the most contentious question we've ever had on this show. I could see fights start. I could see things being thrown across rooms. It could get out of hand.
But that's the good part, because then we get all the variety of opinion and people throwing things at each other for this discussion, which is already bringing up a bunch of photographs that are indeed epic.
Yes, and if you have photographic proof of your favorite kit, that's even more, welcomed here. So tweet those at us at Soccer Down here. But I believe you had questions about the first part, talking about Saved by the Bell and Bananarama songs, I'm assuming.
Okay, so I know that we need to get into a bit of an explainer as to how Saved by the Bell and Bananarama came to pass. How did Bananarama come to pass as a part of the tease for the show? I missed that discussion.
What are tell me some of Bananarama's biggest songs.
Well, Cruel Summer is the one that sticks with me.
Right, but they had others.
They did?
Yes.
Okay. Who?
Okay. When you start looking at their biggest hits, and this was
Venus.
No, well, how does that factor in? There's another one.
They had three?
Oh, they had more than three, but yes, they had another hit.
Talking Italian, Robert De Niro's Waiting.
What? I don't know that one.
Robert De Niro's Waiting, Talking Italian. I think that's what it is.
Robert De Niro's Waiting is the song, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, we're not talking about Robert De Niro either. This was a 1987 top 20 hit. It reached number 3 on the U.S. dance charts.
Okay.
I Heard a Rumor.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I heard a rumor, eh?
Oh, you went deep with irony. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a rumor that popped off last night that seemed to melt down Atlanta United Twitter.
Yes.
Wow, the reaction. Like, wow. Rumor from Ivis Galarcep, Breck Shea, Atlanta United. It is a rumor at this point. So that's number one. Number two, wow. People freaked out about this.
That they did.
Why was there such a freak out?
We're not to January 1st yet.
No, it's not even that. Like, it's, it was just crazy. Like, how?
Polarizing.
No, there wasn't a whole lot of polarization. It was pretty much universally negative, and I don't understand why. Because, look, this is not a player who has started more than 22 games since 2015. If you're bringing him in, you're bringing him in for depth. How many times have we talked about you've got CONCACAF Champions League? You've got a congested schedule with more midweek games than ever before. You have U.S. Open Cup. You will hopefully have a playoff run. You will have a Campeones Cup. You'll probably have some friendlies in the season this time as well. You're going to have a lot of games over a short period of time. This is a player in Brek Shea who is versatile, can play as a left back, as a left wing back, as a left winger, which is where I think he's best. I think the left back experiment for Brek Shea just didn't really work in terms of being a starter at this level. He started 15 games each of the last 2 years for Vancouver. He scored 7 goals. He's had 5 assists, I believe. This is a guy who maybe 6-7 years ago was an MVP candidate in the league. He's always felt like one of those players to me that has had so much promise but never been able to deliver since he left Dallas at the end of 2012. And where's he been since then? Stoke City. Barely played there. Barnsley in 2013-14 played 8 games there. So in total, in his England adventure, he played 17
20?
games between Stoke, Barnsley, and Birmingham City. Then he went to Orlando for their first 2 years when they were not as bad as they are now, but still bad. Then he went to Vancouver for the last 2 years, where they have not really been compelling. If Brek Shea was being brought in here to be a starter, I would understand the worry. I don't know why that was the original conclusion that people jumped to, because there's nothing to back it up. He hasn't been a regular starter since 2012 in Dallas. Honestly, 2011, because he played 21 games in 2012, started 20 of them. 32 games, 31 starts in 2011. He scored 11 goals, had 6 assists. He is a very skilled player. And here's one reason why I think his signing makes a lot of sense. Something you'll start to see with Frank de Boer, whatever formation he's in, whether he's in a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2, whatever it is, because you will see multiple different shapes with Frank de Boer. What he likes, especially from his wide players, is 1v1 ability. Brek Shea's got some 1v1 ability. Brek Shea is a crafty dribbler, kind of awkward because of his size and his first step. Like, he's just different to face up with. He beats people on the dribble a good bit. That's going to be valued here, whether it is in a spot starting role, whether it's coming off the bench, whether it's a late game sub. He also brings some height. He's been a bit of a utility piece for Vancouver, playing all over the left side and even up top at times. So, as a depth piece, if he's a guy who gives you 10 starts, comes off the bench 20 times, not a bad piece to have. And by all accounts, and I've checked around a little bit here, talking to people who would have a little bit of experience with him, haven't heard anything bad about him in the locker room. And that was another thing that got rolling. I don't know where that necessarily came from. There was an incident at Stoke that Brek took a picture of a pig's head that was put in Kenwyne Jones' locker, which is crazy that Kenwyne Jones is involved in this. And I think a lot of people tried to pin that on Brek as doing some horrible thing, and it took all kinds of different paths, and Kenwyne Jones smashed somebody else's car up and apologized, and everybody got over it. There was a whole bunch of crazy pranks going on in the locker room at that time at Stoke. Stoke was not a great place to be at that point. That's the only thing I've seen that you could even tie anything about Breck being a bad locker room influence to. Is Breck a unique individual? Yeah. So? So that's okay. As long as he's going to come in and do the work and fulfill the role that you have in mind. I think there were a lot of conclusions jumped to, and people backed off of it over time, but I was surprised because Breck Shea is one of those guys that, I mean, honestly, 3 years ago, he was being called up for U.S. men's national team qualifiers. So you're not that far off of that, and he's 28. Maybe he puts it together here and figures it out. Maybe this is a good fit for him system-wise. I think a lot of people also jumped about salary. And that's another one that I think expecting him to be on the same salary he was on in Vancouver and Orlando, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I wouldn't expect that here. But also, Atlanta has allocation money to work with. If they feel like he is the right depth piece and they've got the allocation money to do it, don't fixate on the number that he's on. It depends on what he gives you. That's the important thing here, and that's what he's going to have to show and prove.
Josh Eisenberg, as a part of the discussion yesterday, said new coach likes a three-man backline. Shea would probably be a left wing back. He can play D, has great speed, good with the ball at his feet, can pass and shoot, left-footed, and he's 6'3", exclamation point.
He is. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion about DeBoer liking a three-man backline. He played a lot of 4-3-3 at Ajax. He did some three-man backline at Inter and at Crystal Palace. I think he's going to do both, honestly. I think he's going to be more flexible tactically than people are thinking. He can do that. He can be a left back, a left wing back, a left winger in a 4-3-3. He can play on the left side up top. He gives you a long ball outlet with his size. There's a lot of things that he can give you here. He's also a domestic player. He's not going to take up an international slot. So when you're looking at a depth piece, that's what you want to see. Can he give you something you don't have? He gives you another great 1v1 player. He gives you size. I honestly don't see a whole lot of negatives here. I don't see a whole lot of issues.
And I hadn't either. I was looking at depth, considering you had rolled off that there were 6 possible and or probable opportunities for Atlanta United to be active and playing more than 30-plus matches in MLS. So, I mean, you're talking, something north of 50 matches is a distinct possibility or probability this year?
That, yeah, it's very possible.
So you're going to need depth pieces. You're going to need folks who may not start in one aspect of the 6 ideas that you rolled off. You're going to need that kind of variety. You're going to need that kind of depth. And it's a rare situation for any team to be playing possibly 6 different things. You're going to need folks that are going to be veterans and veteran influences and guys who are going to be able to do different things in different situations and be ready when they're called for. And this, for me, I had zero qualm about it, considering all the activity that we're going to be covering in 2019.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of games. Yes, on the left side at left back, you have Bello, Hernandez, Ambrose. Bello's the guy who, to me, is penciled in as a starter, and he's got to earn it. But he's going to need some breaks. You're going to have to figure out, okay, if he's my guy, is he ready to be my guy February 21st in Costa Rica? That's a question. He hasn't been through that. Hernandez hasn't been through that. He's been through it with Venezuelan U20 national team qualifying. It's a little different. Mikey Ambrose hasn't been through that. Breck Shea has. Does Breck Shea become your left back in Costa Rica? Possibly. He absolutely could, because he gives you a veteran presence and somebody who's been through that before. Do you maybe wait for Bello to start the home leg? Possibly. You get another option with a Breck Shea if this is the deal that happens. And You're also probably going to see Hernandez ease in a little more. I think Hernandez is going to play more with the twos, especially early. Remember, it took him a little while last year. He had some injuries. It took him a while to get adjusted, I think, to the U.S., to the new culture. You want to give him playing time. You want to give Bello playing time. Ambrose has been that steady reserve that you've needed over the last couple of years. I don't think anything changes with Mikey Ambrose in that regard. Brek Shea gives you more flexibility. And something I always preach, when you look at constructing an 18, you want guys who can give you a couple of different roles in that 18. You don't want somebody who can only play one position for you in the 18 outside of being up top or maybe a center back because you need that. Guy like Shea in your 18, if you need somebody up top, you've got it. If you need somebody on the left wing, you got it. If you need a left back, you got it. You got a lot of different things you can solve with Brek Shea. So we'll see. I mean, he is a unique character. But how many times do you see it in sports, John? And I know you've covered so many different sports, and you've seen the situation where you've got a player who is talented, has been a up-and-coming player for a while. Now he's past that part. He's that player that you've looked at and you've wondered, why hasn't it clicked with him yet? Why hasn't he become that superstar? And he gets to the right place where that pressure is off a bit, and he blossoms.
And yeah, I mean, a lot of folks can sit there and think of examples of that quote unquote odd bird that for one reason or another didn't quite hit it. And then, I mean, think about who the New England Patriots seem to bring in there, not necessarily here in 2018, because I think that they're on the downside of things. But think about all of the different players that a winning franchise brings in. And I'll use the Patriots as my example. And for one reason or another, it wasn't working. And, I mean, I could go back to a Corey Dillon as an example for the New England Patriots, a Randy Moss. And you have those kind of players who come into the right situation, and you will do things this way. You can still be who you are as an individual, but you will still you'll dial it back. You'll be part of the collective, and you will win. And you see those players as a key part of the success of that team, whatever that team is. And I know that everybody has their examples. The first one popped into my head was the Patriots. So they're there. And the question is, well, why can't it be this? Why can't it be this guy in this situation? And so that's how I've kept an open mind with all the discussions that went through everything yesterday.
Let me tell you what the first comparison that popped into my mind when I saw this rumor was. And it's probably not fair to Brek because this guy's taken his weirdness to a whole nother level afterwards.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman to the Bulls.
Yes.
Because he filled a very specific need for that team as that second era of the Bulls, the second three-peat took shape.
Rebounding machine and outlet.
And he did his job, and he also took pressure off of other guys. And he played there better than he played anywhere else because it was easy for him. It was, here's what you need to do to help this team. Go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the situation here. We'll see. It's got to get announced. I mean, it's not done. It's a rumor from Ivis Galarcep, who's really good, but it's still a rumor at this point. So Bananarama's singing in the background. You got the 12-inch mix of I Heard a Rumor playing in the background, and we'll see what happens. We're going to take a break now. We'll get into more of your thoughts on Brek Shea. We'll talk Saved by the Bell in the next segment because that leads to a bit of news that has popped up this morning. And, yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of mornings. We'll also get your favorite kits as we go. Lots of stuff coming through on the Twitters about that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. and that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Apolinski and Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Apolinski at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Apolinski is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as Legal Elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Welcome back. Soccer Down Here, Friday flashback edition. So we've covered Bananarama. Great 80s band that Jarrett Smith hates because Jarrett Smith hates all 80s music.
Harumph,
Right, Jarrett?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
You go check out I Heard a Rumor. It's a good 80s dance song. Find the 12-inch mix and you're good to go.
Okay.
All right. You might dig it. You might.
Okay.
Yesterday,
Won't know
another
until I
thing
try.
popped up in all of our conversations, talking about all of the possible ways to have 4 designated players next year, because this is still a thing, and this will continue to be a thing until the roster is compliant right at the end of February before the opener in D.C. But I tweeted something about, I think it was to our buddy Sea Otter 68 and Tim Clark. I said, the plot twists in this scenario are getting more ridiculous than when Jesse and Kelly disappeared from Saved by the Bell and Tori showed up out of thin air. If anybody remembers that time of Saved by the Bell, I believe there was a contract dispute, if I'm not mistaken, and they did not sign Elizabeth Berkley and Tiffany Amber Thiessen for the whole season and screwed up, and then or they added more episodes or something because this was their senior year, and you just had like a series of shows, 10 or 12, where they're gone and some new girl's there, and then that's it, and it's like no explanation. Then you have the graduation episode, and Jesse and Kelly are back, and Tori's not graduating because was it a dream? Did it happen? I don't know. That's what this whole saga of how can we have Miguel Almiron, Pity Martinez, Joseph Martinez, and Ezequiel Barco all play on the same team. I don't think it's real life. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. But there is new news out of Argentina about Pity Martinez. And this is from Diario Olé. It's interesting, actually. The talk had always been Atlanta United was going to pay the $15 million release clause, and there you go. Then you have Pity Martinez. Now, according to Diario Olé, Atlanta United is going to end up paying $12.57 million total for Pity Martinez. It's $10 million cash, $2.57 million in fees/taxes, an additional $1.5 million if he starts 10 games, which you would expect that he would if he is here for a whole season and healthy, and a friendly between the two teams. And River would get the proceeds of that friendly. And that would be lucrative, I think, no matter where it is, if it's at El Monumental or if it's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And, hey, if you want to do a home and away, I'm down for it. We can have throw a cup on it and give him a trophy to the winner, and let's have some fun with it. I could be down with this.
SDH from Peñarol.
No, not Peñarol. Peñarol has zero to do with this, John. What are you talking about?
Other stuff.
Yeah. Okay. See, you're as bad as a Saved by the Bell writer at this point, just throwing things at the wall, and now you've got Screech dancing with a boombox next to his head or something.
Screech is his own worst enemy, so to be fair.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's that. But our Saved by the Bell discussion yesterday did result in the greatest Mike Conti tweet of all time.
Yes.
I don't think Mike can top this. I really don't. I want to see him try, but I don't think he can top comparing Screech to Will Johnson. I don't think it's possible. Because somebody asked in the series of Saved by the Bell references about, well, who's playing Screech in this scenario? And Mike Conti tweeted, I don't recall the Saved by the Bell producers using Screech in one episode too many, finding out about it in an exit meeting, and being forced to bring him back for another season as a result. Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
It was all worth it for that. And the fact that I figured out that the actress who played Tori, I knew she had a twin sister because there was a great Beverly Hills 90210 episode where they were both in and they duped Steve because Steve was a dupe.
Leanna Creel.
Well, they are part of identical triplets. I did not know there was a triplet. And the other sister was in an ad for AutoNation, and everybody thought it was Leanna Creel, who was Tori on Saved by the Bell, but it wasn't. It was the other sister.
The other
Identical
sister.
triplets. Did not know this. Thanks to Chris Cawley for pointing that one out and sending us down the rabbit hole to find that. So it was an eventful day yesterday.
In 1992, Saved by the Bell unexpectedly received an order for an additional 11 episodes to be shot after the graduation episode. However, Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Elizabeth Berkley had already decided to leave the show. Though producers knew they couldn't replace Kelly and Jesse, they also knew they couldn't leave Lisa as the only girl on the show. A new character, Tori Scott, was created as a cool but pretty biker girl who would also serve as a love interest for Zach and also as a nemesis for him initially. Leanna Creel was cast for rather than develop a second new character. The producers decided to rely more on minor recurring characters such as Ginger, Ox, and Big Pete.
Oh, yeah. I remember Ginger and Ox and Big Pete. They were great. Yeah, it was silly. I just remember like watching that, like, wait a minute, what? Okay. Now there's, and I think the way they aired them, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of like doubled them up on Saturday mornings. So they'd show like one Kelly and Jesse episode, then they'd show a Tori episode, and you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then Tori wasn't in the graduation. Like they didn't. I mean, now I think you could probably like use video effects and splice her in, and oh, okay, cool, everything makes sense now. But no, she just showed up and disappeared, and there you go. That was Saved by the Bell's warp zone of weirdness. Jarrett, did that make any sense to you? His mind is blown.
It's not the only part of
it's
not the
we're
only
right
part
there
of
right now. Mind blown. It's just wow.
Get you some Saved by the Bell DVDs.
Well, no, this is the beautiful thing about some TV shows where contract disputes are always ongoing. Where, we got orders for a new series or for a new season. Well, we're not prepared for that. Or contract negotiations are weird because this happened in Downton Abbey, where they get to into one of the seasons and what's his name? What's the actor's name? Dan Stevens doesn't sign a contract for the next year. So they basically kill him off at the end of one of the seasons, and just unceremoniously too. But he wasn't coming back. Like he didn't sign a contract, so he wasn't coming back next year. So couldn't go forward with his character. They're not going to, go all soap opera and change his face and change who he is. So they just kill him off.
See, this one was even trickier because you already had the graduation in the can, and you were like slipping in new episodes between what you had shot and your conclusion, the graduation. So you had to get real creative in doing it. But I don't think they ever even referenced Jesse or Kelly during the Tori shows.
Nope.
And it's just like an alternate universe. It was
an
strange.
unperson.
To be fair, on a similar vein, Boy Meets World in the 90s, one of the best episodes is Corey Matthews goes back in time and ends up in like the 1950s during the Red Scare. And so everyone plays just these 1950s caricatures of themselves, and it's just absolutely amazing. I would have watched a series just off of that.
See, I just missed out on that stuff. Was that part of the Friday night ABC block?
Yep.
Yeah, I just missed that. Saved by the Bell for me, and then like your 90210s and Dawson's Creeks and that type of stuff.
But the college years for 90210 was a waste because that was just not a good idea.
No, sir, them's fighting words. No,
Golick as your RA.
No, that's Saved by the Bell. Yeah. College years. 90210 college years was great. You said
90210. No, 90210 was fantastic for like the first 8 seasons.
It was fine until Brandon Walsh left, and then Saved by the Bell, the college years show.
It's awful.
It wasn't as bad as I think it could have been. It wasn't great. Once they brought Kelly in, then it was better. And watching the evolution of Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Kelly Kapowski to Valerie Malone on 90210 was quite entertaining. Because I'm
still trying to figure out where Miss Bliss went.
They moved on from elementary school. It's kind of simple.
Why? It's a junior high.
Okay, they moved into another class.
Okay,
that's
so
an easy one.
and then what happened to the Brady's dog? Brady's dog disappeared.
Who? What?
We were talking about people disappearing. So what happened to the Brady's dog? What happened to Richie Cunningham's brother?
Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
We're talking about disappearing TV personalities. So Richie Cunningham's brother was in the first season. He disappeared. What happened to him? And then the Brady's had a dog. What happened to the dog? It's just they disappear and they don't come back, and you get no explanation.
You went way off the rails there and went back a couple decades, and we're lost.
Same concept of people disappearing.
Maybe somebody out there listening will have some answers for you, John, because I got nothing on that one. I'm sorry.
People disappear. I was just trying to figure out what happened with these people disappearing,
Yeah, I don't know. All right, I think we have bored the folks enough. Let's get into some kits. Let's get into some responses on the Twitters. We're going to take a quick break and reset. We'll be right back.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. That's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Appolinsky & Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Appolinsky at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Appolinsky is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath.
He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties.
He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back. Soccer down here, Saved by the Bell down here, or Bananarama down here, whatever it turns into on a Friday flashback edition. That's where we're at right now on a rainy Friday around the Southland. Jason Longshore, John Nelson, Jarrett Smith with you this morning. Nice update and great pull from ATL UTD fan number 1. This tweet from Por Amor a la Camiseta, a radio program out of Argentina. Leandro Gonzalez Perez was on the show, and he said that he spoke with Frank de Boer, this would have been yesterday, and found an open person to speak and bring me good impressions. Hopefully they can be demonstrated at work. So that's translated, obviously, and Frank de Boer is getting to know his guys over the phone, over Skype, however he's communicating right now while they're all spread out around the world. Great sign. Great to hear. It's something he said he was going to do. It's something Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra said would start happening. And sounds like Frank de Boer's getting to know the guys that are going to be key to his squad in 2019.
And that's, for me, that's, the point that you made. It's good to hear. And the fact that he's already hitting the ground running, even if it is burning up international phone lines and things like that, it's, I'd love to know what some of those conversations are. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for those kinds of things. But, to hear LGP mention that he's already been getting into the getting to know you stage, that's good stuff, and it's really cool.
Yeah, Jarrett, I mean, I think Leandro Gonzalez Perez is so important here. And when I look back at highlights from Frank de Boer as a player, man, I see a lot of LGP there, and I think those two will definitely hit it off because of that.
I don't see why not. There's a lot of similarities there, but also LGP is kind of the way I view it from the outside. Without having, sat down and talked with those guys, he seems like kind of the ambassador and the bridge, especially with Greg Garza moving on. He seems like, a cultural bridge for not just, the American and the South American culture, but for all the cultures on this team, because it's not that simple when it comes to all the cultures and languages. And LGP is kind of the center tower of this complex.
Yeah, he is very important in being that link between the two. We've had some interesting responses. It's going to be one of those days on the Twitters, I can see. John, have you had too much eggnog? Did it go bad? Trey Morrison was worried.
I'm not an eggnog guy. I've just never dug eggnog. I've never been there.
Jarrett, eggnog?
It depends. There's one particular brand that my wife buys. I don't know what it is, but it's good. And then other eggnog I've had, I'm like, no, this doesn't do it for me. So
I've not had an eggnog that I like.
I mean, we'll make boiled custard at home, and boiled custard's fine, but boiled custard just kills you faster.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Okay. I've never been a custard guy either.
Daniel Graham has a question
tiramisu.
here.
Sure.
Wait, what? What, John?
Instead of custard, I'm more of a tiramisu dessert kind of a guy.
Are those even in the same, class?
Well, I always thought it's custard is kind of like a dessert kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, that's like saying I don't like hot dogs. I'm more of a steak guy.
I like them both.
Custard and tiramisu? That's not even the same thing. My mind is blown. I think you did get into the bad eggnog. All right, Daniel Graham. He has a good point, and I don't know all the particulars on this one, but talking about weird TV shows and weird replacements, the Dukes of Hazzard time frame where Bo and Luke Duke were gone, and it was Coy and Vance.
Yes. Yeah, because that was contract dispute. That was Tom Wopat and John Schneider on a contract dispute. Oh, my God, that was so bad.
I was a little kid when that happened, so I don't really remember it. I just remember John Schneider trying to become a country star around that time.
Still trying to this day.
Well, I mean, I think I got an autograph of John Schneider at the Atlanta Car Show when I was like 5. And I think that's when he had one of his first country singles out there. So more power to him. But yeah, I don't remember how they explained that one with the cousins who showed up. Who looked
I think the cousins.
similar.
I think that Bo and Luke went to try to have a career in NASCAR. I think was where that was.
Oh wow, that's a storyline.
Yeah, I think that was the storyline that they took with that one. I will effort that one, but I think it was that they went to NASCAR, and then they made their big return by having the jump over the tree, and they make their big return in doing a General Lee jump back into Hazard County.
But they did have interaction between the different people. Like at least they didn't say, "Oh no, this is Bo and Luke Duke." They just changed their hairstyle or something. They're just wearing different shirts now. It's different people, and then there was some kind of interaction between the 4 of them.
Yeah, it was them Duke cousins, Coy and Vance.
Okay, so that's hey, if you have to get out of a storyline pickle, at least that makes a little bit of sense. Although I would have liked to have seen the miniseries of Bo and Luke Duke trying to make it as NASCAR stars. That would have been pretty cool. That would have made it great.
Here it is. Byron Cherry and Christopher Mayer. They moved to Uncle Jesse's farm after Bo and Luke left Hazard to join the NASCAR circuit in season 5. Coy, like his cousin Bo, often drives the General Lee and is a bit wilder than Vance and chases women. He and Vance are only in the first 19 episodes of season 5, and Coy and Vance are only in one episode with their cousins when they return from NASCAR. Supposedly with cousin Vance, Coy had previously lived on the Duke farm until 1976 before the series had started.
So you created a backstory, you had some interaction between the two, you filled in while the other guys were trying to get their contract worked out. That makes a lot of sense. That's good writing. I can support that.
And Vance was also a former merchant marine.
Well, you got to have a backstory, so there you go. Josh Eisenberg with a fun fact. He missed so many days of school his senior year that he was not allowed to go to senior skip day or he wouldn't graduate.
See, he needed to pull a Ferris Bueller and have a computer and fix it.
Huh. That's not easy to actually pull off. I think that was one of those TV tricks or movie tricks that just doesn't actually happen. I don't think you could hack into the computer system and change things for real.
But you got to try.
So if he wasn't allowed to go to a senior skip day, that's straight up Beverly Hills 90210 episode with Steve Sanders. Like, that's exactly what happened.
He's the only one who's in school that day as a senior. And he's you just see the vacant classrooms, and he's like right in the middle of a bunch of empty desks.
So Josh had a Steve Sanders kind of day. That's good to know.
Nice.
All right. I think after this break, we're going to get into the kits because there's a bunch of them.
Yes.
Lots
there's
of
some good
kits
ones in
to
here
get
too.
to. Now Jimmy Vance is going into wrestling down here with Shawn Michaels and X-Pac and DX, and okay, it's Friday flashback, so whatever you want to flashback
one down
about,
here is
I
the
guess
secret
that
fourth
kinda
hour.
Factors in, yes, whatever works. Jarrett, help me. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I hit the parachute a while ago. I'm confused at this point.
All right, DB Cooper.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about your favorite kits in history. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Appolinsky and Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Appolinsky at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Appolinsky is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Final segment, hour number 1, Soccer Down Here on a Friday flashback edition, and it started with kits and it's turned into who knows what, and that's probably how it's going to go. We apologize in advance for your ears for the rest of the day. Jason Longshore, John Nelson, Jarrett Smith with you this morning. Let's get into kits, and this is something that people argue about all the time. And Jarrett actually had a good question a minute ago about has anybody seen a leak of the new Atlanta United primary kit? And I have not. They're usually really good about keeping that stuff under wraps. Yes. So I know nothing about it. I would not expect it to be some huge dramatic departure. I guess it's possible, but I would think it is going to be somewhat similar to the Five Stripes original kit.
And then once that star is put on it and it is shown over the crest, people just take my money.
Well, yeah, I mean, people did that about the Peach kit, too, which didn't have a star on it. That's just where Atlanta United is. Like, you put Atlanta United on something, and that's what people say these days. So that's a good thing. It's a good place to be. So I know for some people the Atlanta United kit is their favorite, and that is completely understandable. They really did knock it out of the park, I think, with the branding and the kits, and especially the primary from day one. But let's start with you, Jarrett. What are your favorite kits? National team, club team, whatever. If people have thrown goalkeeper kits into the mix, that's always good too. What are your favorite kits when you think about it?
So let's go off this last season we just had. I'm going to be a heretic and not say Atlanta United and pick an MLS kit from this season we just had. For me, I think it's that Road Houston kit, the black kit with the orange stripe in the middle. That kit. That might be my favorite kit of the season.
100%.
That was beautiful.
With you.
I will always have a special place in my heart for the Bomb Pop kit that U.S. national team wore.
Yep. People hated that when it first came out, too.
It still hangs in my closet, and you can rip it from my cold, dead hands. I love that thing.
People hated that kit when it first came out.
Yeah, but that kit saw World Cup action, which is some more than we can say for the last one.
Well, that's true.
Man, I mean, as far as other club kits go, I mean, I have my loyalties to Celtic and the like. For some of
knew that was coming.
Was there a particular Celtic kit that you would say is your favorite that they've done? Period. I mean, we know the green and white.
I think it was 2011, maybe 2013. They did a blackout kit the same year. They did their 125th anniversary kit, which was really clean and looked good. But they did a blackout kit that was black on gray stripe hoops. That was really nice. I've still got one hanging at my house. As far as other clubs, I mean, there's always the old standbys. I mean, there's the old standards of, Barcelona's, AC Milan. Just if it's a clean look, if it's something that's historic for you, lean on it. I'm fine with that. I wish more countries as well, but I wish more clubs would just, if you have a classic look, just stick with it. You want to have fun with your second kit, that's fine, but don't stray too far from what is your identity. This goes as well for some of the World Cup teams. Only one team puts on a picnic blanket when they play, and it's awesome.
And then our U.S. national team does not have a standard look, and probably never has, and that's annoying. John, as our resident kit nerd, what are some of your favorite kits?
I will combat the Celtic kit with my pink October release Rangers kit that I have hanging.
And it's really pretty.
And I mean, it is electric pink, and it is epic, but it still has a little bit of the Blue Ranger trim to it. There's that one. I like the denim kit from the USA national team. I know that's them's fighting words for some folks, and then people just embrace it. The USA denim jersey for me, I love that one. I love the Bomb Pop kit, obviously, which kind of blends itself into me liking some of the early Revolution kits from New England because they kind of did that same kind of Bomb Pop thing. California Surf from the old North American Soccer League is a favorite. And then that blends itself into the Caribou of Colorado for me, just because of how crazy it was. And then there are a couple of personal preferences because of the meaning attached to them. The old standard Swansea white kit with the early sponsorship from the mom and pop shops from Swansea for me. And then they went alternate red, which 32-bet, which was kind of cool. AFC Wimbledon for me because of the emotion attached to it when they got promoted from League Two. The home blue with the Hydra crest right over the heart. And then there are about 38 others, but I'll stop right there.
Okay. I'm sure we'll hit those other 38 as we go. Good question conversation from Thad Dooley and Domer Donaldson talking about goalkeeper kits.
Oh, those are great.
Domer posted 90s goalkeeper shirts and said they're amazingly hideous, and he owns a few of them. There's a couple of those that, man, I loved. I played some goalkeeper in indoor and intramurals at UGA, and the one that I loved in the picture that Domer posted is, I think it's the second from the right on the top row. It was the one that they did when they did the homegrown game a couple years ago, and they did the shout back to some of the older 90s Adidas kits, and I think the goalkeepers were in a knockoff of that one. I loved that. It was like very blocky, and it looks kind of, I don't know, Spider-Man-esque or something. I loved that one. I loved the Tony Meola kit that's in the middle.
Yes.
Thad Dooley had the point, though. I'm tired of the same 3 or 4 goalkeeper kits in MLS. Let them have a little more personality.
Yes.
If you don't want to go all the way to Jorge Campos, okay, fine. That's fine.
But those were great.
Yeah, but those were also, you can't do that these days. You're not going to be allowed to have a goalkeeper wear whatever he wants that is separate from the rest of the team now, because those were his own company, separate from whatever deal Mexico had or whatever his club teams had. That's not happening anymore. I mean, back in the day, you had goalkeepers wearing different manufacturers for their goalkeeper kit and their gloves and that type of stuff, and that's not happening anymore. Those days are gone. But Adidas, get a little more flexible. Have at least more designs, or work with some of the goalkeepers to do some stuff. I think you're missing money. I think if you had a Brad Gazan designed kit, people would buy it because it's Brad. And
no
it would
doubt.
be successful. You don't have to do huge releases of this stuff, but show the goalkeepers some love, Adidas. Let's do this. Come on. Some of my favorite kits before we go to break and start getting into all the listeners' favorite kits. From the national team, from the U.S., and I've seen it referenced, my favorite one was the 2010 Navy with the white sash. That was the best modern look, I think, for the national team. And I wished they had kept the sash going, and they could have gotten still creative with the different color schemes, because that kit, they did a white with like kind of a gray sublimated sash. They did the navy with the white sash, and they did a third kit that was red with a navy blue sash. All looked good. All the same design, but variety. It looked good. You could mix and match the shorts. I thought that was a great look, and they went away from it almost the next kit release. Older stuff, I loved I guess it was the early 90s between 1990 World Cup and 94. I believe it was called Adidas Equipment A, where it had the 3 stripes over one shoulder, and then it was on the opposite short leg. And it'd be, for the U.S., it was 2 blue and 1 red. Like 1 red stripe in the middle, 2 blue stripes on either side, and it came over the shoulder, and then it was on the shorts on the opposite leg. That was just a cool, simple, clean, easy look that I loved that kit. And this was back before you could find kits on a regular basis, so I would have loved to have had that one, but never had a chance to buy it. The denim kit's fine. I actually liked the striped one, too, that went with it, that was kind of like wavy stripes. They weren't just straight vertical, red and white. I liked that kit. That looked good. The early Nike kits were really good. I still have the navy one from the 98 World Cup era that they ended up doing a retro version in 2006 as well. That was a good-looking kit. I thought Nike did really good stuff early on, and it's been hit or miss since. Club stuff, I'm trying to think of ones that I love. I'm totally with Jarrett on MLS currently. The Houston alternate is one of my favorites in the league. That's just an amazing jersey. I love that jersey. Mexico, you've got to love Pumas, right? You've got to love the giant cat on the front is just awesome, and the way they make it work in all their kit designs, I love it. It's unique. I mean, the River Plate kit is just iconic. You know, you see that and you think River. Boca's done different stuff with theirs. There were some Estudiantes kits that were like a dark gray and red that I really liked. It's one of their alternates. Manchester United, the ones that Umbro did, and they did them for a bunch of different teams around that time, that had the Umbro design from the neck all the way down the arm and down the sleeve. That was a good-looking kit. I'm partial to a collar. I know some people are not. This is probably another debate that will get raging on Twitter now that I've said it. I like the collar. I like the guys who have the swagger to pop the collar and pull Eric Cantona on you.
Yep.
You've got to be good to pull that one off, and he was. That's just a cool little bonus to some of those kits. Those are the ones that pop out to me. But we'll get into all of your favorite kits. Send us pictures. We will share all of them starting in hour number 2 on a Friday flashback edition. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Appolinsky & Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Apolinski at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Apolinski is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath.
He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties.
He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
You're listening to Soccer Down Here daily on SDH Networks, a division of OSG Sports. Find us at Soccer Down Here on Facebook and Twitter. The time is now the top of the hour. Peep, y'all.
Hour number 2, Soccer Down Here, Friday flashback edition for December 28th, our final Friday edition for 2018. Next time we talk to you guys on a Friday, it'll be a Friday flashback in 2019. That's just crazy. I don't know. Calendar's weird. I can't believe we're almost into 2019. I can't believe we are, 2.5 weeks from the opening of Atlanta United training camp?
Uh-huh.
That's one thing. And we talked about rumors in hour number 1 with Breck Shea. Ivis Galarsep dropped that last night and sent Atlanta United Twitter a flurry. And I think it's calmed down a little bit. If he's here as a depth piece, I think it's a good pickup. Jarrett, you weren't with us in the first segment. What are your thoughts on Breck Shea?
Yeah, if he's here as a depth piece, I think it's fine. If also, we don't know what other moves might be coming this offseason. There could be other things that happen. MLS is weird, man. Sports are weird. But if he's here on a reduced salary as a depth piece, I think it can be a nice little changeup you can throw out there, size late in game if you need to, with guys possibly missing time for youth international duty. It's going to be important to have that depth. And as you saw last year, you can't have too many players on really either side of things. When it comes to injuries and guys missing time for international duty, it's never hurts to have another left-footed player who can occasionally hit the crossbar and break New York City. Never forget, Breck Shea damn near beat New York City in Yankee Stadium before Atlanta did.
If he's here, understands his role, and is able to give you what is needed. And I'm not even worried about the salary number because they're going to sign him to what they can sign him to. But if he knows what his role is and he gives you what you expect, you can't really complain too much. I don't think he's being brought in here to be a starter in any way. He hasn't been a starter anywhere in a long time. I think he's being brought here to do a job. And I think he's capable of it. His 1v1 ability is still among the best in the league. So let's see what he can do in the system. Maybe he'll surprise people. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to get into the kits here in a second. The other thing from hour number 1 to shout back to is Pity Martinez. New reports from Diario Olé in Argentina. Atlanta United looks like you're probably talking about $12.57 million, according to them. Not the $15 million release clause. It'd be $10 million up front, $2.57 in fees, taxes, another $1.5 if he starts 10 games. So you could take it to about $14 million, plus a friendly between the two teams. And River would get the proceeds from the friendly. I dig the friendly idea a lot. That is pretty exciting to me. And had a question from Victor Mema about that. he said, will this be a great preseason friendly for Atlanta? I don't think it would be preseason. The timing is just a little awkward, possibly. Now, we don't know what Atlanta United's preseason schedule is going to be yet, and I think that was something that was on hold waiting for Frank DeBoer to sign his contract and get the manager hired and all those sorts of things. Are they going to go down to Argentina to play a preseason friendly? It's possible. I mean, Victor could be right, but we've also heard about stuff in California. We've also heard about a report out of Uruguay and Peñarol, who will be doing some preseason in Florida, and they've been linked to a friendly against Atlanta United, and that would be at the very beginning of Atlanta United's training camp, because I believe Peñarol is here through January 16th, if I'm not mistaken. So that would probably be a behind-closed-doors thing right at the beginning of training camp. For River, the second half of their season in the Argentine Superliga starts January 19th. And that makes it a little tricky to fit in as a preseason friendly. I could see it as a summer friendly, honestly, and probably in Atlanta. I would think there's more money to be made here, and if River's getting the proceeds, hey, that would be pretty good for them to come here and play at Mercedes-Benz and get that money, if that's the way this is going to go down. So I'm leaning more towards that than a preseason one. I think the timing just might be hard to pull off for a preseason friendly.
But yeah, I mean, if you had it at Mercedes-Benz, to your point, I think it would be a great widening of what Atlanta soccer fans have been only seeing on the television. And I mean, and if you're subscribed to various and sundry things, but to have it here, I think it would be a tremendous adding to the education, and I'm looking forward to wherever it is.
All right, we got a little bit of air horn. Greg Berhalter has added Jonathan Lewis to the January camp roster, and Ivis Galarcep's tweet is kind of funny. Says the last spot in the January camp is filled, and New York City fans everywhere cast a side eye at Dome Tarrant. Jonathan Lewis, who did not see the field for them in the postseason, is headed to the national team January camp. I don't know. I will definitely be looking at NYC a lot in preseason and at the beginning of the season, because they're one of the biggest question marks coming into 2018 for me.
And to your point, yeah, I think side eye is probably the best way to phrase that. It's like, okay, so you don't do anything with him, but Greg Berhalter is more than happy to. But where did we, in our projections, I know that we had a lot of questions with NYCFC. Where were we looking at them in the projected Eastern Conference and the way too early projections?
I mean, I don't have a number for them. They're not in the elite group. I don't know where they fall. That's the thing, is I don't know. They could be third. They could be eighth. They got to replace David Villa. So right now it's who knows. If they go into the season with this roster, you'd be lucky to get into the playoffs. But you're going to do something about replacing David Villa. We just don't know what yet. A lot of questions about the Breck Shea side of things, saying that, well, this would mean that Chris McCann won't be back. I don't 100% know that that's the case. McCann could be depth at center back, and I don't know what his contract situation is. So I would not be trying to connect 5 different dominoes to the move here. It could just be signing Breck Shea because he's available and he has qualities that you like, and qualities that Frank DeBoer has liked as he started to look at the player pool and who could be a fit, because you would think he's had at least some input on it. I don't know if it necessarily ties to Chris McCann not being back, Jarrett. I don't think there's a cause and effect there for sure.
Oh, I don't think there is either right now. I'm just saying that you never know. Like, things can get weird. There could be more trade offers before the end of this offseason. The team could decide to move on from different guys. Like, weird stuff can happen, but we say this all the time in the sense of, you kind of have to, as the background music kicks up again.
There you go.
I mean, at this point, you haven't gotten a lot wrong with Darren Eales and company, so it's one of these things I think where you just kind of go, okay, if that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Breck Shea is just such a weird name. It's such a random name to see pop up in Atlanta. But who knows? They might be looking at it and saying a guy who can play, up and down the left, play in a pinch and provide some size, and maybe somebody who can strike a dead ball every now and then.
Yeah, definitely that. I mean, it's not one that you would have expected, but we'll see. If I'm not mistaken, Chris McCann is under contract for 2019 as well. So just to say that he'd be leaving, how? Is he going to be transferred? Is he going to be, he wasn't waived.
I thought he would be ironically, I thought he would be a really interesting trade candidate to a place like Vancouver.
Could be.
But no, I'm not trying to get Chris McCann out of here. I've spent way too much energy and time this year defending Chris McCann to do that.
Yeah, there's definitely value there. It's just he is under contract, so that's something. Okay, if signing Breck Shea means that McCann would be leaving, how? So you're going to have to either find a trade partner or a transfer partner, or you're going to loan him out. I mean, you're not going to buy out his contract because why? You don't necessarily need to. So that's the type of stuff that you don't want to jump to these conclusions just yet. That would be the only thing I would warn people against is slow down just a little bit as this stuff pops up and let things play out. You don't have to worry about roster compliance or anything like that until generally it's the Thursday before the opening weekend. So you've got a lot of time. International slots are meaningless at this point. I posted a tweet yesterday, just showing that, yes, they are losing an international slot that goes back to Colorado. They're getting one back from LAFC. They'll have 8. Right now they have 9 guys who would need slots, but that also includes Gordon Wild, who you don't think would be with the first team next year, but maybe. You can loan guys to Atlanta United, too, to avoid taking up an international slot. Guys can get loaned elsewhere. You can pick up other international slots. There's green cards to happen. There's all kinds of stuff. That's what happens this time of year. So don't worry about international slots. Don't worry about salary cap at this point because we don't know the allocation money situation. We know they're sitting on a good bit. We do know that much. They didn't make another big move in terms of allocation money after getting the Carmona money in, and they were already sitting on a good bit when they did the move for Darlington Nagbe. That was 2017 money that they used there. They have discretionary TAM that it doesn't look like they've had to use very much of, so they've got flexibility with things, So if you're able to fit a guy like Breck Shea under your cap with allocation money or at a number that just is comfortable for you, might not be comfortable for everybody else, might work for you, and you've added a piece that could fit, and you could still have Chris McCann here. So you've got a busy schedule coming up, and this is something that always comes up when you talk about CONCACAF Champions League teams. Do they have enough depth? Are they going to be able to do this? Toronto had some of the best depth in MLS history, and they had the worst luck with injuries all at the same position. That depth didn't even matter because of the bad luck they had with injuries. So you never know. To be able to add a veteran guy like this that has played with the national team, that has played in England, that gives you a unique skill set. It's just a unique ability in what he has. And I think a guy who's never fully realized his potential. Maybe he does that with a better team. This is going to be the best team that Breck Shea's ever played with. Maybe that unlocks some of that potential. It's going to be a fun offseason. It's going to be a fun year. And you add a guy like Breck Shea to it, that's definitely going to up the fun quotient, that's for sure. We'll see if it gets done. Stay tuned. Ivis Galarcep reported it last night. We'll see what happens. We're going to take a break, get into the favorite kits from you guys on the other side. Stay with us. We will be right back.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
Had to be independent and take initiative, and that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency, or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Appolinsky and Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Appolinsky at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Appolinsky is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Welcome back. Soccer Down Here. Friday flashback edition, talking about your favorite kits. National team, club team, local, international, whatever. We want to hear about your favorite kits. We gave you some of ours at the end of hour number 1. But here we go into the Twitter timeline. A-Money is with you, John, on the USA denim kit from the 94 World Cup.
Yep.
That's his favorite. Soccer Metrics, Howard national teams, the 1998 Mexico World Cup kit, which I 100% agree with, and other people have shouted that out as well. The one with the Aztec imagery kind of sublimated in, that's an amazing jersey. That is one of my all-time favorites. I would proudly wear that. Yes, I don't care. I would wear it because it's an unbelievable shirt. Real Madrid in their basic white for Howard's club team, I mean, that's iconic. Just the all-white of Real Madrid. It was something, when I played on teams that wore all-white, it did kind of give you a different feel. It felt very classy.
And state.
It's basic, it's simple, it's clean, it works. I don't like that for a while there, every MLS team's alternate kit was all white. I didn't like that. It was funny. The peach kit, I wasn't a fan when I saw a picture of it, but I grew to really like it. I liked the peach that felt a little different. I liked the story behind it. I really came to enjoy watching the team play in that. That grew on me. I think some of it is because they were really successful in it, too. It also felt like, man, okay, we're going to be good today. We're wearing the peach kit. Michael Ruiz, the 2018 Nigeria kit. I'd agree with that. That was one that created a stir from Nike. The 2014 U.S. kit, I'm assuming the Bomb Pop, and the 98 Mexico kit. Those are Michael's favorites. Daniel Graham, any kit that's not purple. I've liked some purple kits without the Orlando logo on it, but I've liked some purple kits. Too. But he goes with the 2003-2004 Arsenal kit, the Invincibles. I'm guessing that was just the classic Arsenal red with white sleeves.
Yes.
And, for an alternate, I did like the Arsenal, what was it, kind of a claret or maroon that they did that was a throwback to, I guess, their original color, their original kit. It might have been their 100th anniversary.
I think
kit.
it was a claret, yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool look that was a little different.
Percy Herrera, anything Jorge Campos wore.
Yes, we've talked about Mr. Campos and his kits. Brody had some pretty cool swag. I was not nearly good enough to wear anything like Jorge Campos. Completely, no, not even trying it. Not even going to give it a shot. Shiva, the 2017 Atlanta United kit, says, I did not have a club until Atlanta, so 2017 inaugural jersey has to be favorite for me. I must say Atlanta did amazing with choosing the right colors, right logo, and right name. They did. I mean, people questioned it at the beginning. People questioned all of that when it came out, and I think they nailed it. And now it's iconic. And that was, I remember the comments from Darren Eales when name and logo and brand and all that stuff hit, was they wanted something that looked like it fit into the world of soccer. Like if you looked up on the TV and you saw the logos for two teams playing in the Champions League, the Atlanta United logo looked like it fit in that conversation, and it does, and the kits do, and it looks, it sounds, it feels authentic, and that's tough to do from scratch. They nailed it. Ricky Ricardo is on the 2018 Nigeria kit as well, and the 2010 U.S. kit. So me and Ricky are on the same boat. That is one of my favorite kits that I have, is that navy blue white sash 2010 U.S. kit. We will get into the Colonel's article that he shared from Jeff Schultz over at The Athletic about sports media in Atlanta. It's a little short. I didn't get too worked up about it, but we'll get into that in the next segment, Colonel. So don't freak out. We got you. Tofka TLC, the Five Stripes inaugural kit, definitely. Another shout for Jorge Campos from Josh Eisenberg. Kelly Francis with the 1998 Mexican kit. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
That is one of the boldest kits. Jarrett, you've seen this 98 Mexico kit before, I hope. I can't think of anything to even compare it to. It's amazing.
I mean, unless it's something from Liga MX itself. But no, I can't think of anything that is this sublimated and this attention to detail that the Mexico kit has from '98. I mean, it's there is zero wrong with this.
And it's a completely unknown company, ABA Sport, that was big in Mexico, and I don't even know if they're still around anymore. To be able to pull something like this out, that's just unbelievable. I think they did a white alternate version of it, too. That it wasn't as good, but it's still pretty good. Unbelievable. That's just one of my all-time favorites. Kelly says her second place is the 2010 Barcelona kit. That's probably one of my favorites of the recent Barcelona kits. They get weird with the stripes and messing around with it a lot. And that's something that I will be kind of looking to see how Atlanta does with. Is stripes going to be the mentality? Is stripes going to be part of the overall look always? I would think so because of the logo, but how do you play with it? How do you mix around with it? We had a question earlier about, why do you change it all the time? It's contracts. It's money. I mean, it's merchandising. It's how you do it. If you have the same kit years and years and years and years and years, people stop buying it because why do they need to, unless you're going to put a new name on it? So you have to find these tweaks that still fit, but fit into the identity of the club, but are also appealing to people to go out and buy. I think Barca's had some odd ones as they've played with their, red and blue and bits of yellow and all that. They've had some that I really don't like, but that 2010 one is one of their cleaner efforts.
And ABBA Sport still does exist.
Wow, I don't know if they have any teams or anything attached to them. Maybe Dorados. Maybe they have Diego Maradona's team in the second division in Mexico. That I don't even know if it's determined. The season starts in about a week, and I don't know if they even know if he's going to show up. He was on holiday in Argentina, and it seems to be an unknown factor in the Mexican media on if Diego will be back in charge of Dorados or not at this point.
And then for me, if you want to get into other Liga MX kits, I like Lobos Buap and what's the Liga de Ascenso team in Juarez.
I don't know. It's changed so many times.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out who it is, so I'm going to figure out who it is at the top of my head. Oh, I like the Cimarrones de Sonora. I like theirs.
Which one?
But Sonora, Cimarrones de Sonora.
I don't know that one.
But this is what I get for watching Liga de Ascenso matches on cable TV. You sit there and you go, oh, them. And then Leones Negros is another good one.
Yeah,
that I like.
That's a great one. I love the Leones Negros kits. They're back in the top flight. That'll be fun. I was always a fan, and the last teams that I played recreationally with here in Atlanta, we played at Silverbacks Park in the Co-Ed League. We were Jaguares USA, and we went to one of the shops up on Beaufort Highway and got the knockoff Jaguares kits before they became Chiapas FC, when it was still Jaguares de Chiapas. We went and got the knockoff Jaguares kits because when you go and see the Latin leagues, you know, most of the teams will play in somebody's knockoff kits, whether it's, you know, AC Milan or whoever, and they go through different kits each year or whatever. So we were like, all right, we're playing in the co-ed league. We're going to just completely throw people off because most people come out wearing the same color T-shirt. We're going to go get, like, kits. So we went and got knockoff kits from Beaufort Highway of Jaguares, a random Mexican team, and it was awesome. People were like, what in the world? Wearing all orange. It was great. I loved it.
Oh, FC Juarez has a base green with a red separated X that looks like an airport runway picture from up high.
Okay. William McClaney is all in on the German 1994 World Cup kit. That's a bold kit. I probably liked the 90 World Cup kit. Still would have been West Germany at the time. I liked that one a little bit better with the red and yellow and black going across, kind of like not straight across, but it kind of went across and dipped, and that was a cool look. The 94 one was a lot going on. Maybe a little bit too much for me.
For the Culture has a top 5 in no order. 2014 Flamingo home kit.
That's the red and black. Slow down. So the Flamingo, like red and black hoops. That's a great look.
Then the 1819 Orlando Pirates home kit.
I've got an Orlando Pirates jacket that is black with red trim, white trim, and it's got the pirate logo like sublimated all over it. It's a pretty sweet Adidas jacket. That's one of my favorites.
Then 1819 Cape Town City.
Okay.
Euro 2008 Netherlands kit.
That's a clean orange kit. I do dig orange. I'm not going to lie. I dig the orange kits.
Yep. And then the World Cup 2014 from France.
Okay. France has had some great kits. They've had some weird ones too, but they've had some great ones.
France
Trey
has
Morrison.
had some clean kits.
Yeah.
It's never very adventurous, I feel like. It works,
they've
but
had
it's
a couple that are a little adventurous. They had the one that looked like a sailor outfit that was kind of weird.
I feel like the last few years they've really, like, we're going to put a collar on this and we're going to make it look like the flag. The end.
I mean,
I'm not mad.
No, it's not bad. Trey Morrison went with the Argentina classic, Albi Celeste.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't necessarily like the one that he posted. Argentina's played around with some different things. The 2014 kit was one of my favorites of recent times with just the way they did the stripes and all that. For Argentina, the thing for me has always been the second kit, what they've done with it. When I fell in love with soccer and the Argentine national team, they went with like a royal blue. And there was a crazy story about like how they were trying to figure out that second kit at that time. This was when they were Le Coq Sportif. That was their sponsor. And I guess the blue kits that they had were not breathable, and this was mid-'80s, and they were playing in Mexico in the World Cup, and it was slightly hot in the middle of summer. So they went to the like little markets in Mexico City and found this breathable blue fabric and had kits made and slapped a Le Coq Sportif logo on it and played in those, because the ones that they gave them were not breathable and they would have been sweating like crazy. So back at not that long ago, this stuff was just complete madness. Adidas lost the deal with Argentina for a while there. They've mostly been Adidas since the Le Coq Sportif days. They were Reebok for a while in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and Reebok did some awful, hideous, ugly kits for Argentina that were just bad.
Should bring back the Umbro kits from the 90s.
Umbro's done some great kits. The Umbro checkerboard, I think everybody at some point played on a team that wore Umbro checkerboard shirts or shorts or both. The sublimated checkerboard Umbros were classic. I mean, I was at a time when, like, if you didn't wear Umbro shorts around, people didn't think you were a soccer player. Like, it was just that
or the shoes.
Common. No, Umbro shoes were never a thing, John. Never a thing. Umbro
Sambas.
Shoes. Yeah, that's Adidas. Umbro shoes, garbage. Adidas shoes, good. Although I'm usually partial to Nike. No, nobody wore Umbro shoes, so they were bad. They tried to do some like high level Umbro boots and stuff, and never really saw as much of those over here. It was pretty much like when I was playing, it was the Copa Mundials Adidas that everybody wore. I never really liked them that much. They were super heavy. I was always a Nike guy.
Kevin from Charlotte has a great one. Providence City's Ocean State kit. Providence City came out with some really good kits in their first year.
Yeah, I mean, you've had some of these teams that are popping up in the lower divisions, unaffiliated, non-league, that, man, while they're trying to put together a brand, they've got people designing some pretty cool kits for them off the bat, and the Providence City one was really good. It's cool stuff. It's a way to develop an identity and get attention straight away as you're trying to grow your business. Let's take a break, come back, more of your favorite kits. If you want to go into some of your most hated kits, your ugliest kits, share those with us too. We can get into that as well. We got about another half hour. Hang out with us. We'll be right back.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. That's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Appolinsky & Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Appolinsky at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Appolinsky is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath.
He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties.
He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and Shelter Pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back. Friday flashback edition of the show. We're talking kits, talking favorite kits. Shared a couple least favorite kits. If you want to share that too, please do on Twitter at Soccer Down Here. Grego_82, Mr. G. Two that I agree with and one that I disagree with. The 2006-2007 Manchester United away kit, which was one of the AIG kits that people got all riled up because AIG was having lots of problems at that time. It was white with like black panels on the sides and had gold trim. That was a good look. I liked that whole style because I think they went with variations of that for a year or two. It was good-looking stuff. The 2009 Italy Confederations Cup, and I'll be curious to see what Nick Alifi thinks about this, because this was when Italy was going with a slightly lighter blue. I believe this was early in the Puma days with Italy. I liked it. I thought it looked good, and it had some sublimation going horizontally across. It's a good-looking kit to me. The 2012...
To be fair, Puma found their stride with the Africa kits. So good for them.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. The 2012 France away kit is the one that I do not like. Mr. G, it's one of his favorites. Jarrett, John, what do you guys think?
I like the classic white. I really do.
It's like an off-white, though. At least it looks like it in this picture.
Okay, because if it's an off-white, then I don't like it, because then that gets you into the cream, and you're like, no, it's got to be a classic white. If it's a classic white, I like the idea, but if it's more of an off-white, I'm like, nope.
It has nothing to do with the white to me. I don't like the stuff on the sleeves. It looks like a...
Candy stripers?
No. It just looks like a... I don't know, like they are on a ship and working, in the bowels of a boat or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it.
You're a lieutenant with the 25 years worth of service?
No, they're not even that. They're like shoveling coal on the boat. Not a fan. Sorry, Mr. G. I might be the only one, so it's okay.
And let's see. Yeah, Tony Jabroni loves the Pumas kit. Any that have the Puma face on it.
Yeah, well, that's all of them. Pumas, like that's how they do their kits. Not Puma, but Pumas in Mexico. Yes, that is how they do their kits. They all have the Puma head on it. Five Stripe Daily with a good shout. The kit from last year that some goalkeepers wore, Brad wore it a lot it was like a black with red kind of stripes across the front horizontally of varying sizes.
Or was it pink because I see the ribbon? So is it pink because of October?
No, it's just a goalkeeper kit. It wasn't a special goalkeeper kit.
Okay.
It's like a reddish. That was a good looking one, and I thought that was one of the better ones that they did. I don't like the all just plain goalkeeper kits that Adidas has kind of went to these days. They're boring. Jimmy Vance, the beautiful game, ATL Soccer 929, picked a different Manchester United kit than I was thinking about. He went with one of the Adidas early ones that he posted up, but that's a pretty ridiculous, awesome kit as well. I'm not a fan of Manchester United in blue, though. I don't like when they were doing blue as one of their alternates, but that kit, for Adidas to go there and do a white kit with blue Adidas symbol all over the freaking thing, man, that's bold.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works as a soccer kit. It looks like just a crazy shirt, but all right. It's a second kit. You can have some fun with it, but man, yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of, Jimmy. I was going Umbro with the Umbro diamond all the way down the sleeve. I believe it was late 90s. Josh Eisenberg pulls out the Hoops FCD kits. 150% agree. Why did they go away from that?
Love those kits.
Why did Dallas go away from the only thing they've had as an identity outside of a giant horse head when they were the Dallas Burn?
When they played Kansas City.
Okay. Crazy references. The Hoops kit, people were calling them the Hoops.
Yes.
So and you went away from it. What are you doing, FC Dallas? Why did you do that?
Exactly. Yes. Agree. Completely. Trey Morrison says, recollars. I don't know why, but for some reason the Brazil kit just feels like something's missing without one, but I don't think they wear them very often. Did Pele wear one? Is that where my brain got this weirdness?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kits back then had collars. That was, I think, pretty common. So probably, Trey, that's probably where it came from. I don't think they've gone with collars for a while. One more thing about the Dallas kits. Okay, so they did the red and white hoops for their home kit. Good look, red shorts, red socks. That's a good look. Then they did the blue and white and blue shorts and blue socks on the road. Cool. The goalkeepers wore like gray and white hoops. I mean, come on. That's so perfect. It all works. It all blends together.
Uh-huh.
And they went away from it.
Of course they did.
Dallas, Adidas, no.
Get to snapping. Get back there. David Benson says his favorite kits are the Atlanta United Parley kit, the Where's Waldo for U.S. Soccer, and the Real Madrid 14-15 third kit with the sublimated dragon.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That Real Madrid dragon kit was pretty nice. The Parlay kit was nice. I'll be curious to see if they do that again this year. I would assume they would. I would assume that partnership would continue. It's a cool limited thing. It's a little different because it's such a limited deal. It's not a third kit, like not a true third kit. So it's kind of a different conversation. The Where's Waldo, I grew to like it. I just want the U.S. to have an identity with their kit. You know, if it's hoops, cool, do hoops. Two different versions of hoops, do hoops. If it's a sash, do a sash. If it's stripes, do stripes. Do something. Because you don't know who they are. They could be anybody when you see a U.S. team walk up. Do the bomb pop. Do the blocks. If you want to do that, mix it up. Do bomb pops. Something that has some consistency. Please. It'd be nice to turn on a game and say, oh, that's the U.S. They've got stripes. They've got hoops. They've got a sash. Whatever. Peru, you know it's Peru. It's the red sash. It's Peru. Or it's a specific color combination. Something.
Yep. Nigeria, you know it's Nigeria.
No. Nigeria has done many, many different things. So, no, that one does not work at all. You do not know it's Nigeria because they've done different shades of green, and they get crazy with the kits. But that's what they're known for. It's like if you are a top-flight program, you have a standard look and a standard feel, and that's what you are. If you are an up-and-coming program, you're trying to be as crazy as possible to get attention. Yes, Oregon, we're looking at you.
Oh, awful.
No, it works, John. Like, it's not awful. It works. How many people have given Oregon a second look because they get crazy with the uniforms? Like, everybody? How many players are like, man, okay, Oregon's actually worth talking about because they do stuff? Okay, yeah. But you can't do that if you're Georgia or if you're Penn State or if you're Ohio State or if you're Alabama. You can't do that nonsense because that's what lesser programs do. Nigeria is going to mess around with stuff because they're trying to get attention for their kids and sell a bunch. They did with this last World Cup. England can't do that. They'd get laughed off the island.
And, to your point about lower divisions and non-affiliateds, Tafka TLC has a quality runner-up in Low Country United. Their sublimated Charleston Skyline kit that he has pictured definitely is strong. Their Low Country has done some quality work with their kits.
Yeah, they've done some great ones for sure. Before we finish up the segment and go into our final one, we'll finish up with kits in the final segment. The piece over at The Athletic from Jeff Schultz, well, it's from the athletic staff, so it's from everybody. Breaking down the year in media in Atlanta for 2018, and it's all about sports media, obviously, and interesting storylines. Who are the media members to watch? Media person of the year, top play-by-play, top analyst, story of the year. All those things are fine. No issues with it. For Atlanta United to not make it into the other moments of note section with what they did on the media side, I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I don't know, if people are actually trying to find and working to figure out ratings and where they stand for Fox Sports South or for 92.9 The Game. I don't know. I don't know if that's out there, if people know that at The Athletic. I don't know if they're paying attention to it. I think at least if you don't have that, if, there's not really a lot to talk about because it's, it is what it is. But the fact that everybody jumped on the parade, that would seem to be something in the other moments in note that would make sense. I mean, Fox Sports South broadcast it, 92.9 broadcast it, but then Channel 2, Channel 11, did Fox 5 have it as well? It was...
I think 46 did.
46 had it. Yeah, it was everywhere. That's something that, yes, that should easily get another moments in note. It's not a big deal. I mean, this is not a team of the year, that sort of thing. This is a different conversation. I think sometimes it's easy to get the outrage flowing about things that don't necessarily need it, and this was one to me. It's cool by me. The Braves in terms of media, yeah, they had a big year. They had a lot to talk about with Joe Simpson, with the TV shakeup with Jeff Francoeur. Yeah, there's a lot of things to get into. Wes Durham and Dave Archer getting recognized for their great work. Yes, they're the best. They're outstanding. We're lucky to have such a good football crew in Wes and Dave. And then Ernie Johnson. I mean, Ernie Johnson's one of the best period in the country ever. So cool by me. I mean, I think they could have included another moments in note about the parade specifically. That feels like a bit of a miss, but not a huge deal. Honestly, I don't even think it's a deal. So no biggie. I know people, shared things in terms of comments, which is great. But it's all good. It's not a big deal to me. It's really not. Let's take a break, come back, wrap everything up on the other side. Hang out with us. We'll be right back.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today today to see what you could save on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Apolinski and Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Apolinski at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Apolinski is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as legal elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
Final segment. Soccer Down Here. Friday flashback edition. Our next to last show for 2018. We've got one more on New Year's Eve on Monday. We're taking New Year's Day off. We'll be back on Wednesday with our first show of 2019. But we're talking about kits and your favorite kits ever. All right. Let's see. I'm scrolling back to make sure we get caught up. The Dragon kit from Real Madrid, yes, I'm still excited about that. The Low Country United stuff is great. The Pumas kits are always great. I love the one that Tony Jabroni posted, too, because that's one of the cleaner ones that they did. That might be one of the older Nike ones, if I'm not mistaken, or they did kind of a retro-styled one. Sometimes they get all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the front because they've got sponsors and stuff, and it's kind of funky to fit a sponsor with the giant Puma head. But that's a great one that Tony posted.
The dark blue with the gold Puma head, the clean one?
Yes, that's a great one. I just retweeted that one from Soccer Down Here. The current Everton home and away kits from Alex, I like.
Yep.
I like the way they did the Umbro design. Jarrett, have you seen these? The blue with the white trim and then the black with the pink trim.
I can't say I have.
They're nice.
I like the black with the pink trim. I know that Everton's blue is their standard cut, but I like the black with the pink trim.
Andrew Baker going with a cheeky option. Dundee from 1953 that's plaid.
Plaid. With the Dundee FC home plate crest over the heart.
I guess. Daniel Graham with another ridiculous one. Okay, I gotta click on this one, so bear with me for a minute. There's a club in Peru that I believe is called Pirate FC, and they played a match with Jack Sparrow on the front of their kit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I guess
that's strong.
Yeah, it's something.
That's cheeky.
It's something. First off, I want to know more about Pirate FC. That's the number one thing.
Well, that's like Santa Claus FC, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm wondering like what level they're at and all this stuff. Let's see here. Yes, Captain Jack Sparrow on the front of their shirts. Molino El Pirata. There we go. I didn't think it was just called Pirate FC. They had been wearing Captain Jack on their crest for a while, but now he's been promoted to the front of the shirt. And it was like a green and white kit with a giant Captain Jack Sparrow in the middle of it. Okay. Sure.
Hey,
why have I never seen that kit before? Shiva, ugliest kit, New York Red Bulls, no doubt.
I don't hate that kit. entirely.
I don't either.
Like,
no, I don't either.
Well, I think rivalry's playing into that too.
Okay, which kit do you like better, Red Bulls or Orlando?
Choice D, none of the above.
Well, I don't think there's a kit in MLS that I truly hate. Like, out and out. Well, I mean, okay. It was a year ago, maybe, I guess it would have been. I think they may have used it this year, the Whitecaps one where they had the little mountains on it. It looked like pajamas. That was kind of annoying, but...
See, I kind of liked that one.
It didn't do it for me. Aside from that, I mean...
Oh, no, I'll tell you which one I didn't like.
Okay.
I'll tell you which it was the worst kit in MLS this year and the last 2 years. The Minnesota gray kit, because they couldn't get the socks to match the rest of the kit. You're wearing all gray, and you can't match the socks to the rest of the kit. It looked stupid. I don't know if it's because the socks faded. I don't know if it's they couldn't keep the colors matching. But if you can't, you don't wear a different shade of gray for your socks, Minnesota. You wear the light blue socks to go with it and set it off. And then you're not sitting there looking at it every time they wear that kit like, why? What? Why?
Something happened in the washer.
What did they do? Like, can't they get new socks? What is going on? That was the worst kit in MLS.
AA5 stripes.
Here's the thing, I really like the shirt, that Minnesota shirt. I like the gray on gray.
The dress gray.
I don't like the all
gray. On gray.
I think you need to break it up. But I like the gray. I would have broken it up with light blue socks if you want to go gray on top, or light blue shorts and light blue socks. So that would have looked pretty good. Just something. It just didn't work for me.
AA5 Stripes says the 2017 original for Atlanta United before the star kit will always show fans how we started.
That's going to be an iconic one for sure. The Garlic Bread Warlord has chimed in on the Italy kits. The 2009 was a classic throwback featuring the lighter blue than white and brown. The 2006 is his. It did lift a World Cup trophy, so there is that factors into it for Mr. Alifi.
Oh, and Beautiful Game has come back in, and he has the picture of the diamond piping from Manchester United from 98 to 2000.
There we go. That's the one I'm talking about. That's an outstanding kit.
The Umbro diamond piping down the long sleeve.
Yes. Nick's others that he loves, the Venezia FC 2017 kit. I need to look at that one up. The 95-96 Grasshoppers Zurich kit. That's obscure. Nice pull. And the Milan 98 kit.
And according to Chris Berry, King Peach leaked last year around December 17th. And he likes the strawberry or the concrete and cherry pie kit from last year. He calls it strawberry and concrete, just not with the white shorts.
You know, I didn't mind the white shorts when you had to do it. I was fine with it. It was kind of one of those things that was a weird accident that actually worked for me. It's like that Red Bull navy and yellow thing that they did. That was an accident because they had to find something that didn't clash. I can't remember the story behind it. I think they were playing in that Arsenal tournament that Arsenal did in their preseason where the Red Bulls went over, and I think that was the first trophy they won in club history. And it became kind of a thing for them. So I was okay with it. As an accident, I was okay with it. Yeah, maybe we'll see something on kits pretty soon. It should start popping up here shortly. Usually stuff starts popping up around the time of the United Soccer convention, United Coaches Convention, and that will be mid-January around the time of the draft. We didn't answer. Which kit would you prefer, Red Bulls or Orlando?
Choice D, neither.
Wah, that's a cop-out.
I don't hate purple in general.
The Orlando kit for me, it's not even close. Not even close.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the Red Bull kit in general anyway.
That's fine. I don't think it's bad.
It's like I'm staring at the outside of an energy drink.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. I want one. They
Go
did
get
their
your
job.
gray. Yes, go get your gray one.
Like I like the purple that they use, and I'm excited to see what Orlando does with it in the future. I think with more years under their belt, they'll get more creative and get better with it, just like a lot of teams do. And I'm okay with Orlando's kit. I don't care. I don't hate Red Bulls either. It's just Red Bulls is kind of blah to me, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate the Red Bulls kit. I don't, it's fine. The Orlando, the purple with a little bit of gold, that's a good looking kit. I liked it. So we'll see what they do going forward. I like purple. I like kits that are a little different. Others in MLS that I really liked from recent times, the dark green Portland Timbers one, great kit.
I like the rose Timbers. I like that one.
I didn't care for that. I get it, but I didn't care for those as much. I think the Galaxy should have kept the sash. I think that's a good look, and hopefully they keep going with that and keep doing different things with it. That's been cool. Their alternates though have been really bonkers. They need to come up with something to just capture something there with the alternate kits. LAFCs are boring. They've got to do better.
Can we get an air horn before we go?
Sure, we can get an air horn.
RSL officially has loaned Danilo Acosta to Orlando City.
Loaned him? That's a smart move.
In exchange for $75,000 in general allocation money and granting Orlando the option to buy the player's rights at the conclusion of the season.
That's a very smart move from RSL because Acosta has not fit into Mike Petke's plans. Aaron Herrera beat him out, and Orlando needs warm bodies because I don't think their 7 draft picks are going to pay off into being anything worthwhile, and there you go. So everybody wins. Smart move.
And it looks like it has almost stopped raining here in Nashville.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
I appreciate your optimism.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts just in general. Orlando City has also made another signing. They've picked up Jegson Sebastian Mendez, who is a young player from Ecuador that people are pretty high on. He just made his debut in the Ecuador national team last fall. He's 21 years old, from Independiente del Valle, which is in the top flight in Ecuador. That's a good young signing for them. So Orlando bringing in Acosta, bringing in Mendez. You have Josue Colman. They're getting younger, and they needed to. This is good. I think they're still going to take their lumps, but this is a good thing for Orlando. So they call him Sebas. So Sebas Mendez. That's a good pickup. This had been rumored for a little while, but Orlando makes it official this morning. So Orlando City, busy.
And I think we're somewhat caught up on the Twitters.
And that'll do it. That'll finish us up for a Friday flashback edition of the show. We'll be back on Monday to wrap up 2018. Final show of the year. If you guys have not checked out the Patreon page, thank you to everybody who has been signing up for this. This is a huge help. We're going to start our exclusive Patreon stuff next week. Thursday will be our first Atlanta soccer history workshop thing. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. That's where you guys factor into it. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be different every time, and you guys are going to help with naming it and just figuring it out, because this is a story that we want to tell. You're going to help us tell it, and we're going to figure out how to tell it going forward. But check it out over at patreon.com/soccerdownhere. We really appreciate all of the support from y'all out there. We're going to take a break for the weekend. We're going to try to stay dry. John will be at a very bad college football game. Sorry.
Right there with you.
Yeah, it's not going to be great college football, but it is what it is.
Not pretty.
Lots of games from England for you guys to watch this weekend. and lots of news and rumors and things before we get to the end of 2018. We'll get you caught up on everything that happens over the weekend on Monday morning. Thanks, everybody. Mucha plata, y'all.
Mucha plata, y'all. Old Firm
Mucha
Saturday.
plata. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, there's that too. Ranger Celtic.